Okay, so I know when we first saw the film, Cameron Bailey, myself, Jane Shuttle, we sat in the theater and just sat for about 5 minutes, very silently. We couldn't quite speak. We went to our room where we debriefed and we looked at each other and just said that was absolutely the most gorgeous cinematic experience we have all had in a long time. So just wanted to express that. And congratulations on the Golden Lion just this week at Venice. So when we heard that Almodovar was making his first English language film, we were all very intrigued. Julianne, how did you come on board the project? And what were your thoughts when you first read his English script?
Honestly, it was a complete surprise. I just woke up one morning and opened up my iPad like I do, and looked at my emails, and there was one from Pedro, and I thought, what does he want? What could this be? And read it, and he said, I have this script, and I'd very much like you to do it, and I'm doing it with Tilda Swinton, and we're doing it. I think it's at that point in the fall, and I said, what? I was really, really shocked, absolutely shocked. So much so that I said to my husband, what do I do? He said, just say yes, just say yes. But I was thrilled, thrilled and honored, and I'd always wanted to work with Pedro, and I'd always wanted to work with Tilda, and it was completely out of the blue. And was so touched, too, by this story about this profound female friendship. So unusual to see something like this, and yet it's something that's such an important part of my life.
Absolutely. And the friendship really felt like it's the heart of the film, really a film about beauty and art and that intimacy. The conversations really felt like such the heart of the film. Tilda, can you speak a little bit about how did you approach those conversation scenes? Because, they, in some ways, they felt so organic, but yet they were so substantial.
Well, in the first place, but by the way, I should say that Pedro would really love to be here with us. And he sends all his love, and I know he's still awake, mindful of what's going on here. Keeps saying, I want all the gossips. So we'll have to dream something up to tell him later. But just all his love and honor to you. And when we tell him how full this cinema is, he'll be thrilled. But first of all, about the conversations, I would remind all of us that Pedro is first and foremost a writer. He takes his writing very seriously, which is possibly one of the reasons it's taken him so long to make a film in English or in any language other than Spanish, because the writing, the crafting of his screenplays is something he takes really seriously, in particular the dialogues. And so it was highly structured. He had, very sort of managed the translation to a degree, given that his fluency in English has grown by the week. Recently, he was relatively unfluent, he wouldn't mind me saying this, when we started shooting. But still, he had this English screenplay, these very long English dialogues between all of us. The dialogues that Julie and John share are extraordinarily exacting and very precise. So I would say what we do, we knew that what we wanted to do, and we were very clear with Pedro about this, we wanted to kind of sink down into an absolute authenticity of relaxation between people. I'm sure that you and John felt the same. We wanted these to be believable relationships. But these dialogues are quite elevated and not really the way people naturally talk. It's not soap opera. And it's not, by the way, and if there are Spanish speakers here, you will concur that even his Spanish films are not really written the way Spanish people talk either. It's a kind of poetry. It's Pedro speak. And so the English screenplay was the same. It was Pedro speak, but it was in English. So that was our task, really. It was to serve the text in a slightly orthodox way, but try and find a way to anchor it in something that felt really authentic and relaxed and meaningful to us, because we're fortunate enough to have these long relationships, and we wanted it to really speak to that. So it was a sort of, it was a bit of a tightrope, and he beat us down, I would say, but we won eventually, because we kind of finally kind of chewed it so much and said, Pedro, let us try and make it natural. And he kind of backed away from the vehicle at a certain point, didn't he? Yeah.
So interesting to